Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 is based on a comic book of the same name where Batman goes on a year-long hunt for the mysterious figure called the Holiday Killer as he takes out members of the Falcone crime family. The first one being on Halloween, then he strikes again on different holidays. On top of that, the Dark Knight has to deal with the rivalry between the Falcones and the Maronis, which is at boiling point. And on top of that, he has to take on the Joker, who only wants in on the fun. First off, I want to say this story is really well told. If you haven't seen my other reviews, a pet peeve of mine is pacing. If the film goes too quick, I can't get invested in the plot or the characters. If the scenes drag, I lose interest, especially if it doesn't go anywhere. But The Long Halloween Part 1 hits the right notes with me. I guess it comes down to the fact that it's split into two parts. It works because it spends its time well developing the story without leaving anything out. What I also find interesting is that it kind of mixes genres. It feels like a detective drama, crime thriller and superhero film all in one, and the balance is more or less spot on. The writing is solid and nothing feels like filler to get to the next action sequence, but when it gets to the action, it's brutal and gritty, but it's a lot of fun. One of the things you have to keep in mind while watching this is that The Long Halloween Part 1 is set in Batman's early years, and it's well established here. Sure, he knows how to handle himself in a fight, but struggles to find control and know when to lower his fists. And even though his detective skills are up to scratch, he lets his emotions cloud his judgment, proving that the Holiday Killer case is one of the toughest challenges the Caped Crusader will face in what will be a long career in crime fighting.
Grundy. He's mine. Let him go. This is your place. Give him to me and I'll make sure he never sets foot down here again.
Jason Ackles does a swell job lending his voice to Batman and Bruce Wayne, but he does struggle to differentiate the voices, so it sounds like Wayne is not even trying to hide his voice.
Obsessed with taking down Falcone. More than Boss Maroni and every ambitious made man in town. He was turned down for a gun license last year. What happened to your friend's face, Maroni? Tell me everything he said.
Hold on, is that you, Bruce? No, I have no idea what Bruce Wayne sounds like. What? I'm Batman! As for the other characters, there is a great mixture of Batman's friends and foes. We have Harvey Dent, elected district attorney, who works with the GCPD and Batman to clean Gotham streets of crime. He does sound like a genuine bloke and does care about the city as much as he does his wife Gilda. But throughout the film he does show signs of his other side starting to emerge. Josh Duhamel's performance gets the balance spot on.
He has a name. It's Carmine Falcone, not the Roman.
Harvey, calm down.
Where were your men, Jim? I've been working on Vidi for months. Nobody on your team thought he'd be vulnerable the night before he's gonna turn state's evidence?
Jim Gordon doesn't just play the role of informant, he acts as sort of the voice of reason, not just for Dent, but for Batman too. He also shows the human aspect, as he's not just got Gotham to protect, but his family too, even if it means sacrificing spending time with them. It's not as deep as Batman Year One, but it's still a good interpretation of Commissioner Gordon. Also, it's still fun to see him on the wrong end of Batman's disappearing acts.
Alright, if I leave now, I might just make dinner. You should be with your people too. Fine.
How could this happen to me?
Every scene between Bruce and Alfred was a joy to watch, whether it was Alfred chipping in his 2 cents or just delivering some comic relief.
In the meantime, we live in obstinate hope.
And an unlocked mansion. Anyway, it's an absurd holiday.
Oh yes, putting on costumes and striking fear. Quite absurd.
Do you really think? I hate when he does that.
Huh, how do you like it now, bitch?
How could this happen to me?
Now, Batman is nothing without his villains. They may differ in notoriety, but that doesn't mean they can't stand out. And The Long Halloween Part 1 has got you covered in that department. We have Catwoman, who is actually an ally of the Bat this time, and Bruce and Selina are kind of a thing outside of crime fighting. But in my opinion, it should have delved into this a bit more. It all felt a bit rushed, but they do have a really good chase scene early on in the film. Calendar Man makes an appearance in one scene, but one scene is all that is needed because he's such a chilling and mysterious presence.
A killer who only works on holidays. And it's December 24th. I was wondering when you'd get to me.
And as for the Joker, well, it's the Joker. He's insanity on 2 legs. And why is he a part of this? Well, for and giggles mostly. Troy Baker's performance could easily be mistaken for Mark Hamill's because they are almost identical, and that's a good thing.
But there's only room for one homicidal maniac in this town. And if I hear that Happy Harvey Dent is stepping out, I'll make sure little Gilda doesn't have to clothes shop for Hubby Wubby ever again.
I'm really surprised Troy Baker doesn't do on-screen performances because he's a really good actor. Plus, he's not a bad looking guy. Come on ladies, try and tell me you wouldn't melt for this guy. And this melting a thing. The animation uses the same style as Superman, Man of Tomorrow and the Justice Society World War II. It does a great job in sucking you into the dark and dangerous streets of Gotham with the overview of the city. It looks like it's ripped straight from the comic book, and it kind of takes you back to the animated series of the 90s. As for the characters, like Man of Tomorrow, they have a thick black outline and it does make them stand out. Well, everyone except Batman because he's all dressed in black. In Man of Tomorrow, I believe the problem was the characters' facial details. They were either under or over expressive. But in Long Halloween Part 1, they fixed that problem. Nothing looks weird and nothing looks out of place. Mostly. In a meeting scene with the Falcones, everything looks fine. They all look like mobsters. But then out of nowhere...
Jesus Christ!
What the f*** is that? This thing sticks out like a sore thumb. Less I'll make you an offer you can't refuse, and more like, hey kids, want some ice cream? Get in the van. What's also unique about the Long Halloween Part 1 is its music. Or lack thereof. But it works because it lets the scene build atmosphere naturally. The sound of rain on a stormy night or the cold breeze of a winter evening is all it needs. I might be wrong about this, but I think some people might find the ending a little underwhelming. But personally, I don't mind that. In fact, it kind of makes sense because we don't have to wait too long for Part 2. Part 2 is literally a few weeks away. Plus there is a post-credit scene, and I highly recommend sticking around for that. In conclusion, Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 is definitely not one to miss. Splitting the story into two parts allows the film to breathe, and goes into good detail and atmosphere without leaving anything out. The characters feel fleshed out, but they have more room for development in Part 2, with great voice performances to boot, and the animation is stellar. But the less we talk about this the better. Batman The Long Halloween has good momentum going into Part 2. I hope it stays that way, and not like The Holiday Killer, it goes silently into the night. And those are my thoughts on Batman The Long Halloween Part 1. But what do you guys think? Have you seen the film? Who's your favourite Batman villain? And why wasn't bulletproof glass a top priority while making the Batmobile?
Alfred, make a note to order a new windshield. Bulletproof.
Comment down below and let me in the know. And that's about everything for today, my friends, so thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I've been Titch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.